Welcome back, Guardians. Ristophilis, and I have a lot of builds coming out in the season of Opulence. We're going to start it off with this Hunter build, and of course you saw my Warlock builds before Opulence actually dropped. I highly recommended building around fusion rifles, and I still recommend doing that now that they're completely buffed to insanity, basically. So the Orpheus Rig build is all built around being a support role slash kind of a beast role. You got to have those stats correct so you can survive and keep running and gunning and have that invisibility coming back, especially because you're going to need it. So pay attention to this build. 1 mobility, 3 recovery with the helmet. Use a recovery mod, that's how you get the 3 recovery on it. Make sure it is a survivalist hunter armor, and use light reactor. Like I said, you get hella super from fusion rifles right now because of there's just so many ads, and you get so much ammo in the Menagerie when you're rallying those flags on every encounter. And then use whatever you want to for your heavy ammo, for your reserves or your scavenger. Completely up to you on that, but copy those stats. Moving on to the arms, a 3 mobility and a 1 recovery with that recovery mod. So it's going to be mobile hunter armor. Use impact induction or enhanced impact induction. It's either 4 or 8 seconds depending on if you have enhanced. Whatever scavenger that you want to use, that is going to be your arm piece. Now for the chest piece, it kind of changes here. 1 mobility, 1 resilience, and 2 recovery. Use a Paragon mod so you get that dodge back. That's one I highly recommend using. But you can use a recovery mod, another grenade mod. It's completely up to you. I'm just recommending that you use the Paragon because that 5 seconds getting it back really does pay off. I found myself in plenty of situations where it was just almost back but wasn't quite, and I was in a lot of trouble. But having the 8 recovery on this build, or the 9 if you choose to do a recovery mod on here, can help as well. But I recommend copying those stats, whatever perks you want on the chest piece. Now with the legs, I have Bomber on mine. You can buy these straight from the collection tab with traction, and that'll give you 4 mobility, but this role has 3 mobility and 1 recovery, another recovery mod, and then like I said, use either Bomber, it's 5 seconds off, Enhanced Bomber is 10 seconds off every time you dodge, whatever scavenger or reserve, it doesn't really matter for that. You're just using the Orpheus rig to get all of your charge back. That's why you don't need to do any grenade mods really or anything like that. You pretty much have all that covered when you start tethering things, and they didn't really nerf it that bad. It still comes back quite often when you do the tether, so it's still a really great exotics to use. Now for the cloak, as I've always recommended in the past, go with recuperation and then use another recovery mod. That's how you maintain that recovery, and then use whatever you want for scavenger, heavy ammo finder, doesn't really matter. But just to give you a glimpse of what recuperation will do for you when you're in the Menagerie, anytime you touch that orb, it's way better than better already, as I've always said. Just touch that orb, you don't have to wait for your recovery to charge, it just boom, it's automatically back for you, and that is going to happen so much because there's orbs being made by everybody here, plus you have masterwork weapons that are making orbs all around. However, if you're going to be using anything with Taken involved, you're going to switch out that recovery mod and then put the armaments. So always do armaments if you have Taken or fallen enemies. Of course, we don't know what the heroic version is going to entail, but there might be Taken in that. We don't really know, but it could come in handy. That'll put you at 7 recovery or 8 if you choose to do the recovery mod on the chest piece. So like I said, it'll either be a 918 if you use the traction from the collection tab, 818 if you copy the ones that I have, or it can be 819 if you do what I have and put the recovery on the chest piece, or 919 if you use the traction Orpheus rig with the recovery on the chest piece. Completely up to you, but for the chest piece, the Paragon mod is the one that I highly recommend. You don't think that 5 seconds will pay off until you're in this situation and it's almost there and you don't have it. Now, I'm going to let it play out with a little bit of gameplay so you can watch it. You can check me out on live stream anytime you want. You want to support the channel, help me grow, keep the channel alive, go to teespring.com/Ristophilis, buy some merch. If you want to make any kind of donations, if I've ever helped you out and you think it's worth it to keep this channel going, you can do that at paypal.me/Ristophilis as well. But I'm going to let this go ahead and ride out, Guardians. You can watch a little bit of gameplay. Highly recommend checking me out on live stream sometime. You can get a lot of tips from that too. But anyways, I am Ristophilis, and I will see you all next time.
In space.